Hey you guys, I want to start off by sharing a story about a young woman who just really inspired me. She married right out of college, moved all the way across the country with her spouse, and was ready to begin this beautiful, wonderful new life. But shortly after, her spouse decided that he no longer wanted to honor his commitment. And yes, this left her devastated, but instead of allowing this experience to define her, to diminish her self-esteem, she decided, on the other hand, to look inward, to start investing in herself more. She decided to essentially to build a new life. She chose not to internalize his failure to stay true to his word. She went on to create a successful career for herself. And not only that, she still continues to date and sees the whole dating experience as something that is actually exciting and fun for her. And no matter what she encounters during these dating experiences, she does not allow that to affect her self-worth. Her story encouraged me to reflect on how we can approach relationships, approach them in a manner that is not going to allow for space for erosion of our self-worth. Hi everyone, I'm Felicia. Welcome to the channel. I am a mother of 3, 2 of which are adults who are currently navigating the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows associated with dating and relationships. I've also been married myself for 28 years. And yeah, we've had our ups and downs, to say the least. But today, I just wanted to speak to the fact that over the years, I've witnessed how relationships evolve. And it's been fascinating to witness how things have changed, both in my marriage and in the way that both of my older children are experiencing relationships in today's world. Now, first and foremost, I do want to address the elephant in the room, and that is, as time changes, so do our relationships. The technology, societal changes, and even the ways that we communicate with one another have drastically changed over the years. And I don't care who you are, all of this can be really overwhelming, whether you've been in a relationship for 40 years or whether you are just starting out in the dating world. But I believe that there is a bright side to everything. Along with all of these changes, there is a tremendous amount of room for growth. So whether you are dealing with challenges in your own relationship or you're just trying to figure out where you stand, I would love to offer some insight into how we can navigate these changes from a place of love and understanding and not lack. And more importantly, hold on to our self-worth. When we approach relationships with the right mindset, they can be a beautiful, beautiful place to be. They can actually be beautiful spaces for connection and growth. You guys, as humans, we all crave connection. I know a lot of you, including myself, have those moments where we say, no, we are just fine, we are okay by ourselves. But in reality, we all do crave that human connection. It is natural to want to feel loved and valued and accepted in our relationships. But what happens so often while we are pursuing these relationships, we find ourselves in situations where our sense of self-worth is being eroded. Whether it is a lack of support, a lack of communication, manipulation, or even physical or emotional abuse. The scary reality of it all is that relationships are risky. We are actually entrusting another human being with our potential feelings and emotions. But that risk does not have to cost us our self-worth. Now, let's talk about the difference between self-esteem and self-worth, because I think we use the two interchangeably a lot, but there is a difference between the two. Now, self-esteem is how we value ourselves in specific areas. So we can say like our abilities at work, in relationships, our looks, or even how good we are at cooking. Now, self-esteem is going to fluctuate, and that is because it's based on external factors. And also, how we believe others perceive us play a huge part in our self-esteem also. So, for example, we might find ourselves highly competent at work, but when it comes to relationships, we may find ourselves on the struggle bus there. And that can have an effect on our self-esteem. Self-worth, on the other hand, is intrinsic. It's the belief that you are valuable regardless of external factors or validation. Self-worth does not waver based on your performance or your relationships. It is your inherent value as a human being. That being said, guys, while self-esteem can kind of rise and fall, self-worth should be stable. It should be unshakable. And when we start letting toxic relationships or behaviors from others affect our self-esteem, then in reality, what we're doing is putting our self-worth at risk. Now, friends, it's not a guessing game. There are some signs that your self-esteem is being diminished by a relationship or by your dating activities. So let's get into this. It's important. I want to talk about it. So let's go. Now, there are signs that we can look for. If we start feeling like we are undeserving, withdrawn, or like we are stuck in these negative cycles, then these are all signs that our self-esteem is being affected and potentially damaged, which in the long run is going to lead to damage to our self-worth, and we do not want that. You see, friends, when we perpetuate the idea that we are not good enough, we are also reinforcing that false narrative that we don't deserve better. And this can easily happen when we find ourselves in situations, relationships where our feelings are invalidated or our needs continue to go unmet, or when manipulation or even abuse start to become part of the equation. But you guys, I don't want to keep this on the doom and gloom side. There is always a way of looking at things in a positive light. There are ways that we can navigate these relationships, or ways that we can protect ourselves while we are out there dating, that aren't going to allow our self-worth to be damaged in the process. Number one, I want you guys to realize that knowledge is power, okay? And that starts with some self-awareness here. What I want you to do is stay aware of how you feel about yourself. Begin to notice. Notice the times when you begin to feel insecure. Notice the times you begin to feel uncomfortable or unworthy even. Take the time to reflect on when this shift happened. Was there a point in time when you stopped asking for what you wanted? Was there a point in time when you felt jealousy start to creep in, or you started making bad decisions for yourself? And if you want to really be bold, ask yourself, does any of this have anything to do with my inner child? Do I have an inner child wound and I am now reacting to that old pain? If you want more on that, then I also have a video related to love and attachments that speaks to this in brief. So I'll put that video right here for you guys to check that out. It kind of was my way of just taking a lot of information and making it something that we can actually absorb and do something with. So you're welcome to check that out. But yeah, it's important. Is there an inner child wound there that we just are not aware of and dealing with? If you have a vision in your head of a happy, healthy, fulfilling relationship, then by all means pursue it. But what I want you to do is stay aware of how you feel about yourself while you're doing it. I want you to be cognizant of your history. What rules or beliefs that you bring with you from your past are now having an impact on the decisions that you make today. And that can include how your partners in your previous relationships or family modeled love for you. And let's really ask ourselves, was there ever a point in those relationships from the past that left you feeling devalued? We also have to consider the cultural and societal impact, the communities that we find ourselves in. Do we feel supported there? Do we feel marginalized by the societal expectations placed on us right now? Do you feel a lot of pressure to conform to these unhealthy norms? We also must recognize personal trauma. Trauma can dramatically change how we see ourselves and the world. And before we can heal, we have to understand that impact that it's had on us. Number 2, guys, I want you to give yourself some grace. And I say this because when you start making yourself aware, awareness can bring up some pain, okay? Now, my friends, when you start to become aware, you are also allowing yourself to be completely aware of the times that you allowed yourself to feel devalued or you opened yourself up to manipulation. But I need you to remember that you did the best that you could with the knowledge and the resources that you had at the time. So please, please, please give yourself some grace here, okay? Okay. So number 3, I need you to keep going. You know why I need you to keep going? Because action produces information. Remember, nobody is perfect, but it does not take perfection to have a happy, healthy, fulfilling relationship. But you can arm yourself with knowledge. Take notice of pattern. Notice when these patterns arise. And let's view both the negatives and the positives that we encounter during this fun human experience of trying to connect with someone else as valuable information. Valuable information that is going to help you determine what you don't want in future relationships or in your current relationship. And invite the experience to gain and obtain knowledge. Now, friends, stay with me here. Yes, the bad experiences along with the good, they can both teach us something. They can teach us something about what we want for ourselves moving forward from here on out. Next up, y'all, I want you to show compassion. Not just compassion for yourself, but for the other individual in the relationship, the other individual on the other side of the table on that horrible date that didn't quite go so well. I say that because I don't want you to harden your hearts, okay? Friends, let's not do that. Let's not harden our heart. It's important that we keep in mind that we all have our struggles, our own dynamics that we're dealing with, and our own fears whenever we are trusting someone else, like I said, with our feelings and our emotions. So it's easy to look at a situation and only consider yourself. Self-preservation is important. However, we have to consider the other person's experience also. Now, I want to leave you armed with a tool. This is a journaling exercise that I think will be extremely helpful in grounding yourself in your value and your worth here. You can practice this journaling exercise while you're in the midst of a relationship or when you are coming out of a relationship and you just kind of want to evaluate things or you have felt that shift within you and you just kind of want to take a step back and look at things and the information for what they are, I think this journaling exercise will be extremely helpful in helping you to navigate that process. So let's take a look at this real quick. I'll put a little chart up here on the screen. Number 1, list 8 strengths that you recognize in yourself. Number 2, let's list 8 things that you like about yourself. That should be easy, right? Number 3, list 8 things that you are proud of yourself for accomplishing, big or small. Number 4, I want you to list 8 things that you learned from this past relationship. Or if you are currently in a relationship, let's take 8 things that you've learned from that. Number 5, let's list 8 times and places that you felt most comfortable in this relationship or this previous relationship. Times when you honestly felt at peace. Number 6, I want you to let's list 8 things that you yourself, friend, bring to the table. Yeah. What are you bringing to this? Number 7, I need your 8 non-negotiables. 8 things that you absolutely not, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% you know that you are not going to compromise on. And number 8, I need 8 ways that you feel that you can protect your self-worth moving forward. What are the 8 things that you feel that are going to protect you in future relationships or in future dating experiences? Remember, friend, that your worth is not tied to anyone's validation, approval, or how a relationship unfolds. That is completely separate from your worth. Your worth is intrinsic, it's in you, it is unshakable. Use the experience that you have, the good and the bad, to reflect, to grow, and to strengthen your self-worth. I want to thank you so much for sticking around today. I hope this video gave some valuable insights into how we can maintain our sense of self-worth while we try and navigate this tricky area of life in relationships. I would love it so much if you are out there navigating this dating world or you are currently in a relationship. Just leave a comment. Let me know how it's going out there for you. And let me know if you've encountered this situation where you feel like maybe things are eating away at you. They're chipping away at your self-esteem, and it's having that effect on you. I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'll be seeing you next week. Bye-bye.